throw them in the chat or just save them to the end. So I'm going to take you through a presentation about the Board of Trustees and about the student trustee. Becca will get into the application details, and we're happy to answer any questions. Really happy to be here, so thank you for your time. So what is the Board of Trustees? The analogy that was given to me is it's similar to a company. We too have a governing body. So the Board of Trustees is the highest level at Purdue University. It's if you think about a pyramid with the president at the top and the administration under him, the Board of Trustees is like a cloud that passes by and is not necessarily always there or involved all the time, but is the highest you can get. So a key point there is we're thinking more big picture about the mission and the culture of Purdue University and what it looks like 10, 20, 50 years down the line. One of the Board of Trustees is a student, which is great. It's a great opportunity. And I think a common theme amongst the trustees is they come from a diverse set of backgrounds and each bring a unique perspective. And certainly the student perspective is an important one to run a university. Next slide. So just wanted to give you some perspective about who is on the Board of Trustees, past and current. So we've had former presidents, Benjamin Harrison, for example, on the Board of Trustees, as well as very accomplished individuals. Two examples are Don Thompson, former CEO of McDonald's, and a current trustee, Vanessa Castagna, the former CEO of JCPenney. Additionally, the board is undergoing some major changes. So our chairman, Mike Berghoff, recently stepped down or will be stepping down at the end of this year. And Mike Bricks, the CEO of Lilly, will be joining us. So really a pleasure to have him on the board. It's not a requirement that you be a Purdue graduate, but most of the trustees are Purdue graduates. Next slide. All right, so let's get into the details a little bit with the student trustee. So like Becca said, the student trustee is a trustee and has full voting rights. And a key point there is that the role is to serve the best interest of Purdue University and its land grant mission, which is different from maybe a student organization role or a student government role where there's some initiatives. Unlike that, there's not necessarily an agenda that the student trustee comes into the role with. They certainly are a student and can represent that voice, but they're also, a young individual that can add a perspective that maybe 9 of the other board members don't necessarily have. So let's see, I think I covered a couple. I think maybe another point to add is this 2-year term, which is different from the other trustees, which are typically 3 or longer. And yeah, so there's more detail about the commitment we can get into in the next slide. So the main qualifications, I'm a graduate student and did my undergrad here, but that should not shy any undergrad from applying. Most of the student trustees have been undergrads. So whether you're a graduate student or undergrad, you must have 2 years in the docket ahead to apply. So if you're maybe a senior, you have to be committed to going to graduate school at a Purdue University system-wide location. So that means West Lafayette, Indy, Northwest, or Fort Wayne. And obviously be in good standing with the university, and there will be a background check, so in good standing with the government. So those are some of the main qualifications. And now I'll get into the question of what is the time commitment of the student trustee. I'm sure that's something you're curious about. So in terms of like the mandatory things year to year, which happen, is a sort of new trustee orientation. That's typically 3 to 4 days, nearly a couple weeks after you would start in July 2025. And then on a weekly basis, just keeping up to speed with what's going on at Purdue and answering emails with various parties, meeting with people, going to events, whether it's a dinner or award ceremony, a couple examples, working with the student governments and the regional campuses. So I meet with the student governments regularly and keep in touch with them. And then there is 6 board meetings, which are 2 days long, 6 meetings per year, which are 2 days long. So this is a Thursday closed session and a Friday half day public meeting. The Thursday session is like an all day, and that means like if you had class, you wouldn't be going to class. And the second day is, like I said, the public meeting. And our last meeting in October, for example, was in Indianapolis, and we've been to, in my term, gotten to see the Northwest campus. So we try and have a tour, and so that would include the transportation Wednesday night to get there. In addition to that, there's a lot of preparation because I want to kind of be on top of my game and bring my best self. So I prep there's pre-read documents, several hundred pages of slides that you can scan through or read it in depth and get up to speed about the major issues or updates in preparation. So that kind of that because these meetings are infrequently, it's hard to answer the question of what is the weekly time commitment because it ebbs and flows. So I think the main picture of it is just doing whatever it takes to stay up to speed and informed about the information that you need to bring a valuable perspective to the board. Let's go next slide. So this is a little bit more detail about like the miscellaneous things that come up. So let's say the president calls you and needs information about or your opinion on personnel that he's considering for a role. That might be something that happens, or like just communicating with trustees via text or email, or keeping them in the loop about either crises or major initiatives. And then commencements, which is a great opportunity. It's been awesome. You get to be on stage and you get to see all the happy faces walk across the stage. So for me, it's like that would be considered a time commitment, but it's kind of one of those things you're happy to do it because it's such a great opportunity. So those are at all campuses and occur, as you know, at West Lafayette for August, December, and May. And then there are many events that a student trustee gets invited to, which makes it difficult to say no. The many events with donors that are giving money to the university that you get to interact with, and building dedication for a new data science and AI building, I got to go to that and interact with the administration, faculty, and staff and students. Dinners, athletics, student panels. So there's a plethora of things. Like this week, as an example, I was at an award ceremony for a couple hours last night. I had an action council meeting on Monday and a lunch with an administrative member. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with the VP of Research, um, and then obviously I've got this today. So that's kind of, and of course, supporting the athletics, basketball Friday, and football Saturday, supporting the team through ups and downs. So that's kind of what a typical week might look like, but there's many different approaches. So yeah. Let's see. So this is just kind of highlights that the student trustee is on specific committees on the board of trustees. So there are 5 committees, as you can see, and it's traditionally the student trustee has been on the academic and student affairs and the physical facilities committees for good reason, because they can most offer a good perspective. So academic and student affairs deals with like a lot with what the provost is working on and his team, and then the physical facilities is like, where do we build, when do we build, how big, and um, so a lot of that has been like the Indianapolis campus and just scoping out the property and what it's going to look like. So yeah, I should say like the executive sessions are closed because they talk about things that by law like would be beneficial to keep closed. So personnel discussion or like building, like where we're going to build, that we're protected under law to have closed meetings. So um, let's see. Yeah, that's good. So next slide. Um, this is a great one slider of what the role is all about, because it compares to something that you might be familiar with or have more experience with. So this just kind of breaks down the role uh, and how the student trustee is um, doing what's the best interest of Purdue University as a whole, all campuses, and works more from a strategic standpoint several years out. Um, a lot of the interactions are with administrators and the team that is leading the university, and is not we're not as involved in the nitty gritty day to day problem solving that the student government might be involved in. So, as Becca can attest.
Sure.
Like the italics in the bottom here, it's like we both do serve the student opinion. I spend a lot of time with students and exposing myself to new student opinions and experiences, and I love talking to students. I'm a student, so um, it's in a different capacity. So at the board of trustees meetings, there's a lot of topics that get brought up, and so you kind of add value through the questions you ask and some of the stories that you bring to the table that can spawn different conversations. So yeah, whereas Becca here has come in with a clear initiative and platform, the student trustee does not. So you're trying to figure out in your first 3 months what Purdue is all about, and how you can add value and where your place is. So for me, it's like certainly certainly I bring the student perspective. I live on campus. I see the day to day, but also um, so like I might be able to help like hey, we're trying to make a new AI policy. How are students using this? And I'm like, well, yeah, I use ChatGPT a lot, so I can talk about that. Or another perspective is like the graduate student perspective, where I'm doing a lot of research and have a perspective about how government organizations, or how Purdue actually executes on like national and economic security benefits for the country. And so I think adding some context about what our faculty are doing, and some of the metrics that the university is trying to excel in when it comes to research. Like, that's kind of an example of how I've maybe approached using my experiences as a student to help. Next slide.
All right, so I can get into the selection process of this all. So as we are a public institution, we have to follow the specific state guidelines for the selection process of the student trustee, right? So a lot of this is going to occur in the spring. So January 24th, it's a Friday, is when all the applications are going to be due. I know that the old application was on the Board of Trustees student trustee subheader section of the website, but now it should be updated. So you should all have access to the 2025-2027 student trustee application, and that is on the Board of Trustees website under the student trustee section. And also in the mass email that you all received, that link is in there, and that is now updated. So you all should have access to the application. Please email me if you have any issues with that in any manner. And then, so in around February, so February 22nd, it's a Saturday, that's when we're going to hold interviews. So you'll receive an email saying that you've been selected for an interview. The search and screening committee here at Purdue will interview you at the West Lafayette campus. And then depending on how your interview goes, we will then review those applicants and select the 10 finalists to be then sent to the governor's office. And then you will be interviewed by some representative within the governor's office. And then April-ish is when, you know, the governor will take over that selection process, and you'll be communicating directly with them, with the representative from the governor. And then, so on the search and screening committee, so we're the ones dwindling down to the 10 finalists, right? Those who are representing the search and screening committee. So I, as the student body vice president and the chair of the screening committee, and then Kevin, as a student trustee, is on the screening committee, as well as Jason Packard, the student body president. And then we also have Shakina, who is the student body vice president of Indy, and then as well as the respective student body presidents of the satellite campuses. So Fort Wayne, Michaela, and Chloe for Northwest. And if you are a Northwest or Fort Wayne or an Indy student and have any questions, you can email them directly or email me, whichever is fine. We also have 2 representatives from grad student government, Somo and Victor. And so we can get into the next steps.
I'll just add one thing to the selection process, in that if it wasn't already clear, it's my approach when I was applying was, you know, I'm going to do the best I can and put forth the best application humanly possible. And but at the end of the day, it's luck of the draw too. There's so many students that are really great here, and you can imagine just the governor's challenge of trying to pick one. So it's just keep that in mind when you're scoping out. I'm sure we've got a lot of ambitious individuals here who want to give back and make an impact, and there are many ways to do that. Certainly, this is a unique opportunity, and I would encourage anyone to put their hat in the role. But it's really kind of a luck of the draw type of thing. So if you get it, great. But hey, there's no problem. Many other ways you can serve Purdue University.
Yeah, and there are so many other opportunities on this campus too if you don't get this position. It is a highly prestigious and competitive position, but don't let that make you hesitant to apply either. And so, yeah, just as a reminder, applications are due Friday, January 24th at 11:59, and that application is accessible on the Board of Trustees website under Student Trustee. And then, so on that application, there are 6 essay questions, and you can write 1 page per essay question. If you have any confusion or questions regarding that, contact any of us. Or if you have any confusion about what the question is asking or need clarification, just let us know. Letters of recommendation, 1 is required, but up to 3 are accepted. If you are wondering about length of letters of recommendation or, suggestions of specific like professors or staff members or, outside people in your life that you want to know if you feel that it would be a good letter of rec, then just let us know, and we can make suggestions regarding that. And then
yeah, I can take this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing some thinking about really how I approached applying, and yeah, I think you kind of want to create this packet where we get a great picture of who this person is, and you can do that through the 6 questions we have and through the choice of letter of recommendations. And so these are very standard application tips, but I think yeah, just being incredibly thoughtful, thorough. So I took a lot of time over break to kind of write in my own words and my thoughts, understanding the role and the obligation and the various unique questions we have. Just taking time to think about what your story is and how to convey that best. Um, and yeah, just being cognizant of like someone who knows you, choosing someone who knows you to talk about, to tell great things about you with your letters of rec. I think it's great to look at things like Purdue Today and the the strategic initiatives of the university. So just like throwing it out there, we've got Indy, Daniel School of Business, Purdue Computes, and One Health. So you can look into those and also look into the land grant mission, how maybe the Morale Act and how we came about as an institution, what our core mission, and think about how that's evolved over time, and really like what our role is to serve the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
So I would also recommend coming to scanning over the Board of Trustees website and looking at going into session. Public session. That's a great way to just get a feel for what it's all about, what the role is all about, and hey, you'll get to see me right there. So, I think that's a great opportunity. Lastly, very general tip, but just be yourself, and I think you guys are going to put together a great set of applications. So, I'm like I can't wait to read all of these applications to see all the breadth of great people we've got at the university.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Becca, if you have anything else, but that's all we have, and we're happy to answer any questions, whether it's in the chat or if you wanted to ask here.
Yeah. So. Yeah, for sure. I would just say to wrap up that the best applications are typically the ones that are the most transparent. So yeah, do not be hesitant to be yourself. As well as I would certainly be researching, hot topics and applications of the university currently. Okay, we have a question right now. Can international students apply?
Yes.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, they can. No caveats. Yes, they can. Yeah. Oh, also, if you guys want to attend the in-person call out, each campus. Yes, Jason Packer, you have a question?
Trustee paid.
The trustee position is not paid. Question from Jason Packard.
Student body president.
But Becca, promote the
yeah. So the in-person call-outs, we will have an in-person call-out at each campus. West Lafayette, Indy, Fort Wayne, and Northwest will all have their in-person call-outs. We want you guys to attend those, even if you attended the virtual, because I think a lot of the questions discussed during that time will likely be ones that you have, and I think those sessions will be a lot more engaging and open.
So.
What is the protocol if graduating in the
I think
fall?
We had one before that too.
Oh.
Okay, thanks. Okay, what is the protocol if...
Oh. Hold up. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, now let's go to the chat.
Okay. What is the protocol if I am graduating fall 2025, but plan to apply to grad school to start in spring 2026? Thank you, Sarah, for the question. there's definitely some ambiguity, but I'm not sure exactly when you would find out about the grad school decision. If you have high confidence in your ability to get into Purdue or Purdue University system, you can just include some detail about that, and um, I think it makes you should absolutely apply still, as long as you're going to be at Purdue for grad school. All right, 2 questions. Here we go. What could be considered a relevant experience to speak about on your application? So let's see. I think there's like having a deep understanding of who you are is really great. Like having that internal maturity, I guess, is it's not necessarily a skill, but it's a kind of a thing that certainly the other board members, they've lived longer, they've experienced more things, they have that. So it's at times you're in a room with a lot of very accomplished individuals. So being able to hold your own, be confident, being articulate in your words and precise and to the point. It's such a, I mean, we're looking for a diverse pool of candidates. So I think if you can uh, find a way to tell your story and your unique attributes and skills, that would be the best approach. Let's see. As a graduate student, I think I am already substantially occupied with research. Same here, man. I feel it. I just wanted to know your opinion about managing work along with responsibilities as a student trustee. Oh gosh, what a great question. It's all about balance, and I laid out some of the commitments, finding finding unique ways to manage your time is a key thing here, and take care of yourself, your well-being, find the things that energize you. Uh, so research is certainly demanding, um, and it's hard as a graduate student, but I think it's possible. Me and Mark G, the previous student trustee, were both graduate students, and I'm on a fellowship as well, so I have a little bit more freedom when it comes to lab obligations. But that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Let's see.
This was in regards to the relevant experience.
Okay, I'm not too
I
familiar.
feel like for relevant experience, anything that you feel like has really like advanced or accentuated, yourself as a leader or your confidence in yourself and your ability to speak, I feel like is a good thing to speak on.
Yeah. So the perspective I'll add here is my story. This is in regard to would Model United Nations be good to talk about. So I was involved in the fraternity community, and some of my core stories in my development as a leader and like my character, solidifying my understanding of my character, were developed through the stories as a fraternity leader. So that was kind of the platform that I interviewed on. I was the fraternity guy, and I told those stories in my application. I wouldn't say I got into the specifics necessarily, but it was more like this is what I involved in, and this was the high level what I learned. You only have a page, so there's only so much you can say for each question. Next up, these are great questions. Keep them coming. Thank you, guys. What have you found to be some benefits or learning opportunities from being a student trustee? There's a lot of great benefits and learning opportunities. Um, let's see here. So, and there's also been some synergy with my research. So I'll just state one of the great things, being in the boardroom and seeing how the trustees communicate has been um, really impactful to me. It's helped me understand better my communication and leadership style. The emotional intelligence in the room is very, very high. And so I've gotten to kind of learn from that and acknowledge different styles that I like. I think that's been great. There's a lot of amazing personalities in the room, so um, just being able to like communicate effectively has been a great learning experience. I think there's so many random encounters and events that come up, or students, faculty, staff that I've met along the way that have seriously like made my life a lot better. And I'm incredibly thankful to have those relationships. So that's like the number one benefit for me is like when I look back on my experience, I'm going to look back at the people. So a lot of memories with some great people at Purdue. Um,
No. Everybody.
wait, what's the question? So
This one.
is presence given to locals in this election? By locals, if you mean local to Indiana, um, I would say no. But certainly in the past, I think a lot of them actually were Indiana residents because they had that understanding of the land grant mission and how Purdue is serving the state. But there's not a preference.
If you mean locals as in West Lafayette, though, that's also no, because the Board of Trustees oversees all campuses, including satellite campuses. So, those from Fort Wayne, those from Northwest, those from West Lafayette and Indy, everybody has the same chance.
Cool. How often are students involved in policy change or addition as a student trustee, as a trustee? Certainly, I would say involved. The process to change policies is slow, as you can imagine. But I think I mentioned like the AI policy. I contributed to that in more of a I wouldn't say I was in the details, like writing things, but I provided a high level perspective about how students engage, and yeah, it's as involved. I mean, if you really wanted to get involved in a specific thing, and you're super passionate about it, and the other trustees think it's valuable, I think you'd be happy to do that. But again, it's like it's not really a day-to-day role. So yeah.
Do you guys have any additional questions?
Preference.
She was talking about this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you guys have any additional questions or comments, or you can also email, me or Kevin or, your student body presidents.
Yeah, and if you have specific questions about the role, you can just email me directly.
Kevin. Yeah, I would email Kevin. He's gonna be the best.
So I'm happy to meet with students, like I said, and provide more perspective. But yeah, I think that's all the questions we have. So I just wanted to thank you for your time and really looking forward to seeing all the great applications. So best of luck to you all. Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Oh,
wait, we got another.
We're trying to answer as many as we can. Okay, here we go. Keep them coming. Let's go. So the letter recommendation can be from my undergraduate university, or is it someone Purdue? Hey, anybody that you think can talk on your unique skill set, maybe other than a family member, I guess that'd be kind of different. But yeah, anybody that you think can attest to your character, your accomplishments, and whatnot. When are the dates for in person in West Lafayette? We've got that pulled up. It should be Tuesday, November 19th, 5:30.
So next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
And we will send out the location for that. Yeah. Yes, Michaela, we can stay after for a second.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of like this question. What specific hard skills are required for the role? I think that I was asking myself this too. When I was applying, what are the technical skills I need to succeed in the role? As a Purdue engineer, that question I ask myself all the time because I go into a company role and I ask myself, what do I need to succeed? but it's a little bit different. It's more of the soft skill development. So maybe something that are a little bit less clear on paper. You can demonstrate. See, we're breaking up here. Okay, but I certainly think the soft skill side of things are really what's in the application of this role. Hard skill wise, it's hard to identify, especially I think there's going to be so many different life stories that come to the table.
The location for the in-person West Lafayette call-out will be determined. Oh, we're frozen. Can you guys hear me? Okay. The location for the in-person West Lafayette call-out will be determined soon, and we will send that out to everybody. It should also be accessible on the Board of Trustees website under Student Trustee. We'll have all the locations listed out.
Okay. So if there are no more questions, we would like to end the meeting. So yeah, thank you all for attending. I think Jason said to stay on for a little bit.
Oh, it was Michaela that said to stay on.
Okay.
But thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
To Abby today.
Sorry, what was that?
I spoke to Abby today.
Oh yeah, she was so worried about everything. She was like, I don't
Okay,
know.
she doesn't stress. It'll be chill.
Sorry.